Hello everyone and welcome to the video lecture series of learning Theory of Automata and Formal Languages. So this is a second year subject, semester is 4th and the subject code is KCS 402. So my name is Binayak Parashar, I am assistant professor working in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So we'll be trying to cover up with the initial topics of this particular subject, and in this particular video we will try to cover up the introduction to automata theory and also some of the important terminologies. Okay. So basically before starting off with any of the subjects, we should have a clear cut idea about why this particular subject, okay, where it is being used and what is the meaning of the subject. So if you are clear cut, you have a clear cut knowledge about this particular three things, then you can generally say that yes, I have understood the concept of what this subject is all about and I can move forward. So before coming up with the definition of what is automata theory, first we should understand that why we are going to study this particular subject. Now let me say that suppose I have a machine, okay, let's say suppose I have a machine, say this is my machine, okay. Now you can think of yourself that is there any kind of machine which is working without having a set of inputs and producing a set of outputs? No, there is no, like that directly you cannot directly say that yes, the machine is running without having certain inputs, it is just producing the output. No, it's not possible, right? So some or the other we are having certain machines which are having some set of inputs. It may be single, it may be multiple, it may be like a collection of inputs, okay, and definitely it might produce some set of as an outputs, correct? So this is what the general meaning of the machine, okay, which is working. These are suppose set of inputs. Now my question to everyone is that if we have a particular basic knowledge of like how the processing is being done based on certain inputs producing some set of outputs, then it will be like an easy process to understand all the machines, okay. So some or the other in all the different types of machines, everything lies in the process of this particular part, that is nothing but the processing part, okay. So here in case of automata it is mainly considered like how the automation is being done, how the process is being done based on certain set of inputs and then producing some certain set of outputs, okay. So we will try to check it out that how this particular why we are going to study this particular subject, okay. Now theory of automata and formal languages. First we will consider the terminology theory of automata. What is the meaning of automata? So basically if we look into few of the things that I have mentioned over there, that like theory of computation is a part of theoretical computer science, okay. If you are learning suppose Python, if you are learning suppose like a database management system, if you are learning suppose computer networks, these are all different parts of like software and hardware parts of a computer. But theory of automata is a subject which is nothing but the theoretical basic knowledge of the computer system, okay. Now here mainly theory of computation is mainly concerned with the study of how problems can be solved by using algorithms. That's what I have told you. Then some set of inputs will be there, some processing will be there, and some set of outputs will be there. So we will be able to analyze, we will be able to analyze and also apply logic into that particular set of inputs, and some or the other with the help of some set of processing we will be able to give some outputs. So overall we will try to make a machine, an automatic machine, okay. Then these studies are used to understand the way an algorithm is meant to work, okay, and to actually prove it works through analyzing problems that may arise with the technique used in finding solutions to these problems, okay. Now suppose I ask you that I am having, okay, I am having a router with us, okay, and I am having some set of systems over in this network. I am just giving a basic example in order to make you understand this particular paragraph, okay. So some or the other these systems are interconnected to each other through a switch maybe, okay, and then through the switch I am trying to connect this to this router, okay. Now I want to do some set of transfer of these data from one system to another system. Let it suppose that this is another network where there is a system and in this system I am trying to connect some other systems as well. Okay, now I am trying to create certain protocol with the help of which the data can be sent from this particular system to this particular system, some or the other. So definitely what we will try to do, we will try to set certain kind of algorithm, certain kind of steps, certain kind of pseudocode in order to transfer this particular data from here to here. That means some or the other processing can be done over here, some or the other the processing can be done in the switch, some or the other the processing can be done in this particular switch in order to accumulate the processing of the entire stuff. So this is nothing but the concept of automata theory. Okay, so this is what they are trying to do. These studies are used to understand the way an algorithm is used, which I have told you how the algorithm is being used. Okay, and to actually prove it works through analyzing problems, okay, that may arise with the technique used, and also to find certain solutions to these kind of problems. Okay, now these are all different types of, like you can say, a bookish language type. Okay, so I am just skipping for the timing. Okay, we will look into this particular concept in a depth after understanding few 3 to 4 topics. Okay, for the time being, you just keep in mind that suppose I am having a particular concept like this, I am having particular area like this where a lot of systems are there. Here also I am having an area like this. How this processing will be done? Okay, I know that yes, I am having these set of systems in this part, in this A network. I know that this is these are certain systems in the part of B network, and I have been given a router. Now some or the other I have to do the processing of this A network concept to B network concept. Got it? This is just an example. Okay, so for the time being, I am just skipping this particular topic, how actually the processing is being done. Now I think you are coming across with the concept that why we are studying this. Correct? My main motive of this slide is that to make you understand that why we are studying theory of automata. Just I have given an example of a network. I can give an example of a particular, suppose a system. Okay, this is your CPU. This is a very basic example. It's connected with the output devices, input output devices. Correct? And here also suppose this is an output device, suppose, and let it be suppose this is an output device, and let it be suppose an input device. So suppose I have given some set of you can say a query to this input device, through this input device to this particular processor, and then based on that query the processing will be done, and some or the other it will transfer this process as an output to the output screen. So this is a machine, this is an automata. Okay, where we are working on some set of inputs and producing some set of output based on the processing of the entire concept. Clear? So this is why we are studying this particular subject. Okay, now let us check it out that it is quite huge field of study. Like we have split it down into 3 particular concepts here. Automata theory, where we will try to find out how we are going to create certain machines, certain protocols we can say, okay, or we can say prototypes of the machines, and based on those prototypes of the machines we will be able to understand how we are analyzing the queries and how we are able to process those queries. Okay, next we will try to look into the computability theory, how it is being computed, how the processing has been computed, and what are the complexities we find out. So these are the 3 different categories we are going to learn. Okay, so for the time being we will be learning into this particular concept, automata theory. Then in the upcoming slides we will come to know about how the computability theory and complexity part of the theory we will learn it. Okay, so now let us go in the next slide, and we will try to look into a few of the topics. Okay, where now first of all this part I am just keeping it for the timing. Okay, we are not looking into the linguistic part. Yes, we can some or the other we can relate. You can look into the particular para, and then you can think of it. So basically what we generally say, the analysis and the manipulation of actual human interactions or actual human language, which we generally say that I have told that okay, submit this report to that department. I have said it. Now some or the other, you being to whom I have sent it, the details, he will process the entire thing and he will submit it to the other department. This is what I have given the query. So some or the other, it can be applied to the analysis and manipulation of human computer language, okay, as well as the development of human computer interface, HCI, and artificial intelligence. So this is somewhat a little bit of linguistic version, So we are skipping, that's why I told you that we will be skipping this particular part, and we will try to look into the other applicational areas. Okay. Now as you can see here, I have brought for you certain application areas. Now you might be thinking that what is this? Finite automata, push down automata, linear bounded automata, Turing machine. Okay. For the time being, I will try to find out certain areas where we already know these areas. Okay. Then we will look into that particular terminologies. Okay. So basically we know this one, compiler. I think you have heard about this particular term, compiler. We have heard about text editors. Okay, we'll try to find out, extract those important applications. You know about spell checkers, spelling checkers and all. Okay, then you might heard about, you have already done digital electronics in the previous semester, right? You might have not done digital electronics, but you have done computer organization and architecture, and there you have studied digital equipments, right? And there I have come across with combinational circuits and sequential circuits, flip-flops, registers, counters, half adder, full adder, right? So in order to construct these kind of machines, the basic theoretical version will be required through automata. Clear? Then you have come across with some compiler. Again the term compiler comes because compiler will be a subject which you will be learning in the next semester. Okay, there you will learn 6 different types of phases, and in all those 6 phases different applications were being done through with the help of automata theory. So you should have a clear cut understanding of automata theory, then only in the next semester you will be able to understand the concept of compiler design. Clear? Then let us check it out, or any more applications we are well aware. For implementation of stack application, I think data structure you have come across, right? Then for evaluating the arithmetic expressions, let it be suppose A is equals to B plus C into D, where A, B, C, D are variables. So somebody other, in order to work it out with this kind of expressions also, the basic knowledge is required is automata theory. Then come across with genetic programming. I think you have heard about this particular terminology. Okay, again compiler came. As I have told you, compiler will come across again and again because compiler constitute different types of phases, and all those individual phases are having a interlink with this automata theory. You will not able to understand now, but once we will come across with all the units one by one, you will come across to understand, okay, this unit refers to this particular implementation, this unit refers to this particular implementation, and why it is referred, that you have to understand the entire unit. Clear? Next, Turing machine, neural networks, robotics applications, artificial intelligence, every basic stuff we require the knowledge of automata theory. I would suggest you guys to look into a movie that is named as Imitation Game. Imitation Game or Imitation Games, I forgot the. So you can look into this movie. This movie is entirely made on Sir Alan Turing, okay, based on which the last unit you are going to learn, Turing machine, which is the most powerful machine right now, till now in the world, which has given the basic understanding of entire processing of the machines. Okay, you can say that suppose I am a computer science engineer. I say suppose I am a computer science engineer. I am just trying to relate with real time examples. Okay, I am a computer science engineer. So directly do I have a one particular subject with the help of which I have become computer science engineer? No. Some idea other you need the basic understanding of almost 64 subjects. Just giving an example. Okay, you must have a knowledge of almost suppose 48 subjects if we say in the 4 years, right? Okay, 48 subjects you need the basic understanding, then only you will be able to clear up with the computer science engineer. So some or the other, if we are having a certain machine, a powerful machine, which is having the entire knowledge of all the different branches which are required to make it fulfilled, then we can say that is the most powerful machine. Correct? Then that is the most powerful machine with the help of which you will be able to understand how we can apply logic in order to process a particular input set of strings to output. Correct? So that powerful machine till now is Turing machine, and that was named after Sir Alan Turing. We will look into this particular topic in upcoming lecture as well. So this is actually in unit number 5 where you will be able to understand. Now coming across this particular 4 different parts, This finite automata you will be learning in unit number 1 and 2. Then push down automata you will learn in unit number 4, and Turing machine you will learn in unit number 5. But before push down automata, you have to understand the concept of grammar. Okay, one terminology, grammar, which you know already, right? In English language you use grammar. So here some of the other we are using language alphabets like strings, then grammar. So these expressions, so these are the different types of basic words that you will come across in understanding this particular topic. Okay, so what I suggest is that I know compiler, that you have used Turbo C compiler, right, to compile the entire code and then execute. So if you can see in the entire process, some of the other we are using in every possible way with the word compiler, right? So compiler design is one of the important area where you need to know the basic understanding of automata theory. This is one thing. Secondly, in case of robotics engineering right now, in case of artificial intelligence, this has the automata theory is like the basic knowledge you should have it. Okay, so I would suggest that after learning every possible topics from unit wise, you will come across to understand these particular, you will be able to relate those particular topics with these particular applications. Clear? So for the time being, I think I have tried to make you understand that why we are studying this subject and where it is being applied. Okay, now I will try to look into few more things which you should know it in this first lecture only. Okay, this is somewhat I have brought for you the syllabus of this particular subject, so you can take a screenshot of it, or you are already having this particular syllabus. So as I have told you, in the first unit we will be learning about the basic concepts of automata, where just now I have told you the finite automata concepts, everything. Then in the next unit you will be learning about expressions, some set of expressions you will be able to learn. Third unit you will be able to learn grammar. Fourth unit you will be learning about push down automata, one topic, and fifth unit you will be able to learn the concept of Turing machine. So these terminologies are all new to you, so please, for the time being, I would say that you have to skip on these particular topics. You have to learn what I am telling you right now. Okay, so next is basic characteristics of automata. Now before understanding these basic characteristics, we should have a clear-cut understanding of few more terminologies. Okay, now let me show it to you. What are those terminology? I am just skipping this presentation. Yeah, the first one. Now these are the terminologies which are like, as when you start learning English language, you have learned about A, B, C, D, E, F, right? So same way, in order to learn automata theory, you should have the clear-cut understanding of these particular terminologies. What are the terminologies? I am just telling you. First one is alphabet. Okay, first one is alphabet. Second one, you have to learn about strings. Okay, strings. Then third one, you have to learn about some operations on strings. In those operations you will come across few terminologies as well. Operations over strings. Clear? Then one more terminology we have to learn. Clean closure. Then we have to learn about positive closure. Okay, so before learning these two terminologies, you have to learn one more terminology, that is power of an alphabet. Power of alphabet. So before learning these two terminologies, you have to understand that the concept of how to find the power of an alphabet. Okay, and then finally we can say we can learn language, and then we can learn, I will just in the first unit I will just try to show it to you the meaning of grammar. Okay, just only the meaning of grammar. We don't need to understand the basic different topics, subtopics of grammar. Okay, so these are the basic terminologies that you should understand. These are like ABCD for theory of automata. Okay, now if we come across with the first topic, that is your alphabet, I think I don't need to explain anything about alphabet. You are clear cut, you have clear cut idea about what is the meaning of alphabet, correct? A finite set of input symbols, inputs we generally say as input symbols or simply symbols. Okay, the symbols can be anything. It can be a collection of binary data, it can be a collection of digits, it can be a collection of characters. Okay, it can be a collection of ASCII characters as well. I think I have mentioned over here a set of all ASCII characters. Okay, so basically how we generally denote this alphabet, we denote with the help of, I think you can pause the video and you can think of it, what is the meaning of it, correct? This is nothing but summation also we said, and we say sigma also, correct? So these are the, this is how we generally represent alphabet, okay, and we write down in this format. So in order to run a particular machine, or in order to process a particular working culture of a machine, we need the help of alphabets, which comes in the form of input, which comes in the form of input. Okay, so I think it's clear, alphabet is clear to everyone. Now we can move to the next one, strings. Okay, so as I've already told you, alphabet is a collection of some finite set of symbols, finite set of symbols. So you cannot say that A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H is not an infinite set of symbols, right? It's a finite number of set of symbols. So we generally collect the finite set of symbols. Now if we have a collection of alphabets together, then we say that is a strings, correct? So strings meaning also, you know, it's a string is a finite sequence of symbols chosen from some alphabet. So suppose if I give you an example that my alphabet comprises of two input symbols A and B, A and B. Now I need to find out that certain strings, and I am writing in this pattern AA, AB, BA, BB, and this one I am writing like this W. Okay, so this W is what? W is a set of symbols which is nothing but strings, which comprises of the input alphabets. Okay, and that comprising of input alphabets comprises of A and B. Okay, clear? Now this is nothing but the strings. So for example, like I have given here, length of a string, the number of positions for symbols in the string. Now as I have told you, suppose in this particular term, how many number of alphabets are there? Here 2 alphabets are there, correct? Here also 2 alphabets are there, here also 2 alphabets, and in this it is also having 2 alphabets. Therefore the length of W, which we generally write as mod of W, is equals to how? 2, because number of characters combined together is nothing but strings. So how do we find the length of the string? The number of positions for the symbols in that particular string. Clear? So this is all about your the length of a string and what is the meaning of a string. Now we will try to find out certain operations being performed over the string. Okay, so let me erase all these things and let me check it out what is in the next slide. Okay, it's about power of an alphabet. So let me get back to that and let me show you some of the important you can say operations on strings. Okay, so two topics we will be doing in today's video is operations on strings. Okay, and one more topic I will be dealing with, that power of an alphabet. Okay, now operations on strings. First of all, I have told you how to find out the length. Now one more example I am giving for length. Say suppose I am having W is equals to A, B, 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 A, B, A, B, A, B, then A, B, B, okay, B, B, A. So suppose these are the strings I am having in this particular W. So length of W will be what? You can pause the video and you can think of it, 3. The number of positions, okay, number of positions, what we say, the number of positions for symbols in the string. Okay, now is for here example also given, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the length of this string will be 5. Okay, So length, I think it is clear. Now next topic that we have to look into is prefix of a string. Prefix of a string. Okay. Now suppose I am having W is equals to ABB. Suppose this is a string that I am having, and I want to find out the prefix of a string. So prefix means some way or the other we are trying to find out the remaining alphabets, not the highest alphabet. We are trying to find out the remaining alphabets to that. Suppose for this particularly we are having the highest alphabet, the LSB part will be the B. So from B, whatever elements we are having, that will be your prefix. So that means what will be the prefix of this W? So prefix of W will be A, AB, and what will be the next one? ABB also. Always remember the prefix itself, it used to take it. Okay, suppose I am having a string. So prefix also will be itself. Okay. Now one more thing, I have skipped one particular string, that is W is equals to epsilon. Okay, this W equals to epsilon means empty string or null string. So I am just writing it down. Empty string, or we generally say as null string. So if we say here in the prefix part, as we are discussing this before this A, we can say that this is an empty space. So we can also include here as epsilon. Clear? So epsilon, A, AB, ABB, will all these four elements will be the prefix of this particular string. Okay. So I think these are nothing but the substring also. We can also write down that these are the substrings of this particular ABB. How did you calculate these substrings? With the help of prefix condition. Now third operation is suffix. I think W is equals to ABB, the same example I am taking. Okay, for this suffix will be what? Suffix will be first of all epsilon. Then I will neglect this part, suffix, the letter part. Then B, BB, and also ABB. A. So these are the four different substrings of this particular string. How did we calculate? With the help of the property suffix. Clear? So all these are different types of operations being performed on the strings. Okay. Now I will try to erase this. You can take a snapshot of it. I am trying to erase all these things. Okay. Now the fourth one that we have to look into is proper prefix and proper suffix. Now W is equals to ABB. Always remember the proper terminology. We have learned about set theory, right? Subset we know. Proper subset means what? Always less than or equals to. Okay, sorry, less than 1, right? So the length should be less than. So that means here also the length should be less than the prefix part. Okay, that means I am having this ABB, it should be always less than that, not ABB. ABB will come when we are taking only the prefix condition, not the proper prefix. Clear? So that means the proper prefix will be A, AB, not ABB, and also I have skipped epsilon. These are the three proper prefix. Similarly, if you want to find out number 5, proper suffix, the same way. We are not going to take as a whole, we have to take the length less than that. So that means W is equals to ABB. So what will be the proper suffix? One will be B, another will be BB, and the third one will be what? Epsilon. That's it. So these are the different types of operations being performed over strings. Okay. So I hope I have tried to clear up few of the terminologies which are used in strings. Now we can check it out, the last one, that is power of an alphabet. This will be the last one for today's video. In the next video we will come across with a few of the related terminology which I have already told you, clean star, then clean closure, positive closure and all. Power of an alphabet. Nay, suppose I am having I've given over here an example. The basic idea is here also already. So if you can look in here, power of an alphabet we generally say as, first of all, this one, okay, which represents that the length of the string is 0. The length of the string is 0. So whenever length of the string is 0, we generally put it as 5. We put as 5, okay. And always remember there is a difference between epsilon and phi. I will take a graphical diagram, that time I will explain to you during the language part. I will try to explain the difference between these epsilon and phi. For the time being, look into this particular context. We are having this as nothing but what? Alphabet. So alphabet to the power 0 is equals to phi. This means what? It describes that the length is 0. No string is available. Clear? Then suppose the input alphabets are A and B. To the power 1 means what? Length is 1. Can you check it out? The number of positions of the alphabets. Okay. Then last one is that to the power 2 is nothing but what? AA, AB, BA, BB. So you can check it out like this. Length 3, 3 A's, 3 B's. Okay. So that means overall power of 0, power means what? It generally defines the length of that particular string. So based on this length of the particular string, we will try to look into the topic that is known as clean closure and positive closure, which we will be discussing in the next video. So hope in this video you have tried to understand why we are studying this subject and where it is applied. Few terminologies you have seen, and now you have seen certain basic you can say terminologies related to automata theory. So thank you for watching the video.